Hi, in this episode we are going to implement a new functionality, which is a search functionality, but it's a query with like. If we look inside the database and we have a first name with the name, for example, Lori, and we invoke this API with RI, with the string RI, we want to retrieve this value, this student with the name Lori. This is great because we have JPA, and what's the purpose of using JPA? We want to be able to implement the common queries without writing too much SQL, native or something like native SQL. So what we are going to write here, to implement this functionality with JPA, we must use a convention. You can find all these conventions online if you look for JPA and you look at the documentation, but this is just an example. You have to change the name of this method a little bit if you want to do this query, this like query based on other field. Now, just to remember, our student has ID, first name, last name. Now we're going to implement this search like by the first name. So we need to use this convention, which is find by first name containing ignore case. Of course, you must add ignore case if you want a search like which is insensitive, or we can say not case sensitive. Now we must use a string first name port, and we must import this list. Great. Now that we have this method inside the repository, we can go inside the student service. We have this get student by ID, and we can implement something like this. We want to return a list of the student, a list of student with the string that we are looking for, and here we can call this search by first name string first name port, and here we can use find by first name containing ignore case, and inside we can use first name port. Great. Now let's go inside the controller. If we go inside the controller, we have this get mapping. Now this will be a little bit different. We can still copy paste the get method, and I think I'm going to change this name. Maybe it could be first search by first name, and we want we can call this search by first name, and here we are going to use a request param string first name param first name part, sorry. Here we want to invoke the find search by first name part, and here we go with a list. Great, a list of student. Now we want to check if this list of student is empty or not. We can use if student dot is empty. Maybe you can call these students because it's actually a list. So we go with students is empty. We can do return response entity dot no content dot build. Else we can return response entity dot okay, and we can use students as a body. And now we must change this a little bit. We want to use this notation because we don't have a single student, but we have a list of students. So great. We can get rid of this return. And great, now we can start the application. I've created, before this episode, I've created some student inside the database just for testing purpose. You can open your Postman, you can go on the post method, you can recreate this method. I think you already have this code if you followed all the other lessons. And you can invoke this API to create different students to test. Remember to use the right endpoint. Now click on this method. You must create something like this get method, and you must click on params. Let's say that you don't have this first name part. You can just click here, write first name part, and then choose your value right here. We can say RI, and you can click on send. Great, now as you can see you have Laurie Smith and Mary Smith, because Laurie, it ends with R and Y, and the same for Mary. Now if you check inside your database, you can, for example, make a different kind of search. You can just use L and O. So for example, if you use L and O and you click on send, you'll have only Laurie. And if you use just O, of course you'll have Laurie and Joe. Okay, this is how to implement an easy functionality with JPA. Now let's think about if you want to write the same thing with SQL, with a native query. You have to write a little bit of things. You have to choose your table, to concatenate the string that you are using, to put this inside the like. So I think you can appreciate that with just a simple line of code. Of course you must follow this convention. You can implement a quite interesting functionality.